Good day, everyone. I am Carol Niegas Miklat and I am your reporter for today. And our topic is all about the surface, deep, and the transfer of learning. Now let's start with the surface learning. What is surface learning? Accordingly, surface learning does not mean superficial learning. Rather, surface learning is a time when students initially are exposed to concepts, skills, and strategies. Surface learning is critical because it provides a foundation on which to build as students are asked to think more deeply. In surface learning, students focus on external goals such as getting a particular grade or award, or pleasing or impressing someone else. These students tend to do only what is necessary and focus more on being able to regurgitate what they have learned rather than truly understand and absorbing the material. For example, taking the course for the qualification and not being interested in the subject. In short, surface learning is retention of information without critical thinking. Now, let's move on to the deep learning. What is deep learning? According to Marilyn Goss, deep learning involves things like extending ideas, detecting patterns, applying knowledge and skills in new contexts or in creative ways, and being critical of arguments and evidence. Deep learning is powerful exactly because it makes hard things easy. The reason why deep learning made such a splash is the very fact that it allows us to phrase several previously impossible learning problems as empirical loss minimization by a gradient descent, a conceptually super simple thing. By that, we can say that the deep learners are active in constructing a knowledge, self-motivated, confident, focused on internal rewards, and has a high long-term retention. Lastly, the transfer of learning. What is transfer of learning? The transfer of learning is the ability to take information learned in one situation and apply it to another and different situation. It was originally introduced as a transfer of practice by Edward Thorndike and Robert S. Woodward. In addition, according to Crow and Crow, the carryover of habit of thinking, feeling, or working of knowledge or skills from one learning area to another is usually referred to as transfer of learning. For example, Anna go to a grocery to buy the things that she needs to cook adobo. It becomes easier for her to calculate the total price of the things that she bought because she was able to apply the mathematical techniques and procedure that she learned in a classroom. Now, let's move on to the three types of transfer, which are positive transfer, negative transfer, and zero or neutral transfer. First was the positive transfer. Refers to the facilitation in learning or performance of a new task based on what has been learned during a previous one. It was considered as positive transfer when a learning in one situation facilitates learning in another situation. For example, first, learning of mathematical principles enables the learner to acquire principles in physics. The second one is learning grammar in any language and writing composition in the language. By that, positive transfer indicates a positive relationship between particular topic areas in given subjects or even two or more contents areas in different subjects. Positive transfer can operate at two levels. And these are: first, lateral transfer or horizontal. Lateral transfer occurs when a learner is exposed to content that is applicable to another subject or situation at the same level. For example, first, a child who is trying to learn basic in arithmetic discovers that 4 times 9 is equals to 36, and 9 times 4 is also equal 36. And 3 plus 5 is equal to 8, and 5 plus 3 is also equal to 8. Secondly, when a learner acquires the basic skills of baking a cake in school, he applies the knowledge to bake at home horizontally. He will use the same ingredients, the same measures, and the same baking methods as learned at school. So, this kind of transfer is applicable at the same level and is basically foundational. The second levels of positive transfer was the vertical transfer. Occurs when knowledge is applied to another learnings at a higher level, either in the same subject or in another subject. For example, when a pupil masters simple grammatical rules, he or she is enabled to speak correct English, write competently, and to study other subjects in English as well. Also, when a pupil masters simple arithmetic and numeracy, he or she is enabled to acquire complex concepts in mathematics and physics. The second type of transfer of learning was negative transfer. The negative transfer refers to any decline in learning or performance of a second task due to learning previous one. Negative transfer occurs when content in a subject or into different subject has a negative influence one another. This happens when what is learned in one situation hinders or inhibits what is learned in another situation. For example, if a learner is introduced to 2 new languages which are similar at the same time, negative transfer occurs. A learner who is learning English and German at the same time experiences difficulties mastering both languages simultaneously due to inhibition or interference. However, with enough practice and mastery of both, negative transfer is minimized and even eliminated altogether. Lastly was the zero or neutral transfer. Refers to acquiring knowledge, skills, or principles that are not transferable from one situation to another. When learning of one activity neither facilitates nor hinders the learner of another task, it is case of neutral transfer. It also called as zero transfer. This occurs when there is no relationship between one subject and another one. For example, between geography and music, or fine arts and biology. These two pairs of subjects share no meeting ground. Each is independent from the other in terms of facts, skills, principles, and technical jargon. Therefore, learning one subject has no effect on the other one, positively or negatively. Now, let me show you the learning pyramid. The average student's retention rates. In lecture, 5%, 10% of what we read, 20% of what we hear, 30% of what we see, 50% of what we see and hear, 75% practice by doing of what we say, and lastly, 90% of what we say and do. Just like what Confucius said, I see and I forget, I hear and I remember, and I do and I understand. Thank you very much for listening. Keep safe and God bless.